Welcome back to Broadscast. If you're just joining us, Rebecca Jane Weinstein is here. She's the author of Fat Sex, The Naked Truth, founder of peopleofsize.com, an attorney, social worker, and advocate. So, Rebecca, let's get to it. So, fat sex, it was your mom's idea. Like, what are you trying to, so the second edition of this book comes out June 30th?
It is, yes, June 30th.
So, what's the message of this book, this book that you want people to take from it?
I think the overall message of the book is that fat people have sex just like thin people have sex. Sometimes they have great sex, sometimes they have not so great sex, and really just fat people are people, and people like to have sex. So, that's the over...
So that could have been written in one page.
Yeah, but the reason it can't be written in one page is because it's complicated for people who are fat or perceive themselves as fat, because there are so many social issues that we have to deal with, and so many lessons we've been taught from a young age, and so many prejudices, that although sex is just sex and there's no such thing as fat sex, it's really just sex. Although that's true, there's a lot of baggage that comes with being a fat person and sex.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard. People have a rough time. So this book is about
hopefully
the good and the bad. I mean, it's happy and it's sad and it's complicated.
Do you think the baggage naturally comes with being larger, or do you think the baggage is taught?
Well, from what I can tell, from having been writing about fatness now for almost 5 years, it is largely taught. And I occasionally meet somebody who has been raised to believe that their body is beautiful no matter what it is, and that fatness is not a crime against nature. And when I do meet a person like that, they tend to have a very different perspective on their body. Now, I don't meet so many people like that. That is not the typical way that people have been raised, and maybe that's changing a little. I don't know. Probably not, because now we have a child obesity epidemic, supposedly. And
so where's the balance? I mean, speaking of the child obesity epidemic, where's the balance of, raising kids who are healthy, strong, active, and make good choices with food, but also teaching them that their body at any size, at any time of their lives, is absolutely lovable and perfect?
Well, becoming fat is a complicated issue that's still in the infancy in terms of scientific research, despite what many people assume. But everybody should be taught to eat healthy. Everybody should be taught to exercise. It doesn't matter what size you are or where you're from or who you are. Being as healthy as you can be is certainly a goal that everybody probably wants to work towards, and probably should. And some of us become fatter than others. Then, if you're raised with a lot of conflicting ideas in your head, you also end up with a lot of emotional issues, including eating disorders.
Right. What are the what are some of the big? Oh, sorry.
So I would say the best way to raise a child is to treat any child like you would treat any child. You don't treat a fat child differently than a thin child. You teach a child what you think that they should know and love them.
Absolutely. But do you think that are children with a healthy body image and healthy sense of self becoming fat? I mean, it's kind of like the chicken and the egg thing. Like for me, on my heaviest times, which I'm absolutely 100% at it right now, I didn't get here because I'm having so much fun. I got here because when I stress, I eat, or, at night I binge, or, and I'm just putting it out there. Like, It's not a healthy thing for me. When I'm feeling better about myself, I don't turn to that stuff. So which comes first?
Well, that's a hard question, there are various reasons why people gain weight, but I would say that at a low self-esteem period, at a period of depression, and any kind of negativity in your life is not going to make things better for you.
Right.
I mean, it's that's sort of a generalization that would be true around anything. So if you have a tendency to stress eat or binge eat or whatever, being in a bad place is not going to help you.
Right.
And in terms of liking your body, if you're socialized from a young age to not like your body, that's going to, all kinds of issues are going to come from that. I can tell you that for myself, and for a lot of people I've talked to, I started out when I was a young child at around 5, a little chubby, and I don't know why I was chubby. Nobody really knows why I was chubby. I maybe just was chubby. And I mean, really, I wasn't a very large child. I was a little chubby, but it became an issue. I was seen by a doctor, and the doctor said I needed to go on a diet. And from then on, as I say, I think it's in my Fat Kids book, that it wasn't so much a diet as it was an eating disorder starter package. And for me, I don't know which is the chicken, which is the egg, but the being labeled as fat and being treated as fat is what made me fat.
So, in your book, Fat Sex, The Naked Truth, I think people are going to assume that it's soft porn, but I think that the message I know, that's that's what I love about it. I mean, I love that the whole concept behind it is to empower women or people heavy, thin, to love their body, have healthy sex, to have appropriate, consensual, wanted, desired sex. And I love that your message is getting out there through your book. I hate to cut our interview short with you, Rebecca, but we're getting the message that we have to go to break. But congratulations, it's a second edition. People can see all of your books at your fatbookseries.com website, and they can also find you at peopleofsize.com. Thank you, Rebecca.
And we have
Good
all
luck.
the links on our website at Broadscast.
We do.
My pleasure.
So
Thank you.
so
Good luck.
much. Coming up,
Thank you.
Thank you. It's coming up. It's all about you. We are taking your calls and your comments. Welcome back. So we were going live on Periscope all this time today, and then we realized that they couldn't hear.
Oh.
The
So we
caller.
should have been miming the last and
they couldn't hear the guest on there. So we apologize. We're new to this. We're just anyway. So we have a very exciting thing happening.
What is it?
On Facebook.
Oh, Facebook.
The Broad Squad. So it's a group on Facebook.
Could we have a theme song? I feel like we need to have a theme
that
song
would be
for the
awesome.
Broad
It
Squad.
should be like kind of like the mod squad.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing in my head.
Like da-na-na-na-na-na. I don't even know what that
And
song is.
capes and tights.
That would be cool.
Okay.
We'll have to make some products. So on Facebook, go to groups and Broad Squad and join us because it's cool. Not only do you get exclusive deals and giveaways and things like that we're going to do, but also, it's a place to kind of connect and throw some topics around. And,
right.
It's been really good.
It's been fun.
Yeah. And we have so many women in there talking about their own projects too, like
right.
their blogs and their products and their this. So it's a win-win. So if you want to join us.
And I'm going to work on the song.
Yes.
That's what I'm going to do in my spare time.
Tim's gonna write a song. So anyway, we're going to start taking your calls. So on the line we have Marie Roker-Jones from the Broad Squad. Marie.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Can you hear me? I'm good. Can you hear me well?
We can. What's your question or comment?
Oh, I just wanted to make a comment regarding the law that just passed. I know a lot of people are up in arms about, same-sex marriage, and I just think, it doesn't matter because it's just about love, and it's about who is compatible, who wants to live together, and who wants to make their marriage work. So I think that people that get so caught up in it need to just focus on their relationships and not worry about what other people are doing. And if we just start to really put our attention more towards making all kinds of relationships work, then that'll make the world just a better place.
Well, one of the things I loved about the law, the passing, is that, it kind of it incorporates and includes kids, because I think kids in situations that were from same-sex relationships, that they felt like their parents' relationships were less than others. And I love that we hopefully are going to be lifting that stigma so that kids feel included and loved and cared for no matter what the relationship their parents are having.
Yeah, well, thank you, Marie, for your call. Very much appreciated. There's
No problem. Thank you.
Have a good day. There's a video I put on our page this morning, on our Broadscast Facebook page, that people apparently are enjoying. But I actually asked my son, and you saw this, I asked him what happened, because I had told him, and he said, and you have to check out the video, so Broadscast on Facebook, but he said, this is what happened, the Supreme Court approved same-sex marriage, and I said, how does that affect mom and dad's marriage? And his response is perfect.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm not going to give it away, but go to our Facebook page, because I just think that his response is exactly the answer.
Well, my son and I have been talking about there were 37 states that approved this before today. And so with each of those states in the last couple of years that my son and I could talk about it, I would remind him. And he always had this look like, I'm confused as to why this is news, was sort of, and so it was a great opportunity for me to discuss with him, bigotry and inequality, and how confused our society is in some levels, and also about embracing other people's opinions and talking about intolerance and judgment, and so when I told him today that it is now nationwide, he kind of looked at me like, cool. And I said, and how does this impact you? And he goes, it doesn't. But I've been trying to convince adults of that for years.
Right.
They've never.
Kids are easier than that.
I will never forget. I had one of my many arguments with my ex-husband was about civil unions, and he was vehemently opposed. I'm sure he still is. And I kept saying, but I don't understand. How does this impact our relationship? And he said, well, because it diminishes our marriage. I'm like, but how? How does it impact? He could never really come up with a great answer. And so,
because he's a tool, but that's a whole other topic.
No, but lots of people think that way, P.S. But
yeah, but my husband was telling my son this morning, it wasn't that long ago that, interracial marriages could happen. And he looked at him like, you're kidding, like waiting for him to say he was kidding, because he just could not understand. Like, really?
Well, I'm happy that the law caught up with our cultural shifts and our changes, and I hope that people can respect that, and just like I respect other people's opinions, but
that's the thing is, what I love about this show, and I was actually even listening to, I'm not going to bash any other, but I've listened to talk shows. I work in daytime TV. I drive and I listen to other news programs where people I respect very much are on as guests, and it's always talking over and yelling. And one thing about when, you and I created the show was that every woman's voice matters. Every person's voice matters. So if somebody is against it, I want to hear from them.
Yeah.
I want to know why it doesn't work for you. Like, I want to know why, other than the fact that, like I said before, in your religious institution, if it's not allowed, okay, but legally, you know? So anyway, let's keep the conversation going. Next week, we are going to have somebody on who is an expert in food and our relationship with it, and why, to kind of follow up on today's topic.
Okay, great.
So I'm kind of excited about that.
Thank you, Brittany. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, listeners. And tune in next week here on Broadscast.com and KHTS, your hometown station.